Because Kurt Metzger was here the other day, and I don't know if he's still here, but I saw him doing a new bit about how he's not into bros, this gay romantic comedy kind of thing, like all that kind of stuff. But what he is into is every man-on-man rape scene in all the movies with man-on-man rape. I was wondering if this was going to be something that struck a chord or not, but it strikes a chord with me, like the scene from Pulp Fiction, Deliverance, Oz, everything that happens in Oz.
I think that's all of them.
Yeah, I think that's my list.
Yeah. I can't think of not that I have a list.
Well, I do, because I actually have, because I've enjoyed the scene in Pulp Fiction, but I haven't actually seen Deliverance or Oz. I've been meaning to, but I just never get around to seeing anything.
I forget, and I'm so sorry for this, but I know a comic that he was doing a bit about how prison rape is the only rape that people are like supportive of.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where it's like, well, he's a criminal.
Right. Well, usually the idea is that, because like pedophiles get raped, but a lot of prison rape isn't that. It's just rape for.
Well, right. Well, that's what's odd is like people in prison, oddly, are anti-rapists, like vehemently so. Where they have to keep them separate. They have to keep the rapist in protected custody
because they'll get raped.
or killed.
Or killed, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's funny if you're like, we rape rapists.
Right.
That's the position.
You're like the Dexter of rape. You're like, I only rape rapists.
Yeah, exactly. But I just love this bit because it's how I feel, where he talks about how it's like, how if you were watching a movie and there was a man on his back with his legs up, kind of like two men are making love and kissing, he's like, oh, get that. But if you flip him over, if someone punches him in the stomach or whatever, now I'm into it. So I was wondering if that's just me and Kurt, or if that's something that other straight men feel.
No. Well, you know what it is I think when it comes to assholes, dicks, and balls, most men, and this is straight or gay, I think we are at full empathy when we see another man's ass, balls, or dick damaged.
I see.
You know what I mean?
So it's hurting you too much to watch someone get.
If you show a group of men a man getting kicked in the balls, every man in the room will be like, oh, like, and that's how you teach men empathy.
So when you watch Pulp Fiction, is it Ving Rhames? Is that the right celebrity?
It is.
Yes.
When
you watch that scene where he's got the ball gag in his mouth and stuff, it does nothing for you. You're in pain for that?
No.
Okay.
But that's only because he deserves it.
He deserves it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
he's dead, right? The real guy.
That feels right.
He's dead. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I think he's dead. Yeah. But yeah.
That scene that killed him. Okay.
Right. No, but yeah, I think you have to earn a rape.
Okay. So that's when it turns us on. I wonder about that for me.
So maybe he's really just into revenge. Because that's my thing.
That's interesting. Because what about Deliverance and in Oz? Maybe a lot of the people getting raped, maybe they do deserve it. I don't know. Again, I haven't seen it.
It's been a long time since I watched Oz. It was great though, but there were I think it was 50-50. Some of the rapes were deserved, some of them weren't. But that's just about weakness and strength.
Okay, yeah. Now I'm curious about myself. I need to watch Oz because now I'm curious whether I'm going to be into the rapes when they don't deserve them, or if it only is when it's like, yeah, you're also in your comeuppance.
My favorite thing is when a movie starts off. Well, I've only seen this once, but it started off as a rape, and then it was like, oh, they were into it. Like they set it up to, like she was into this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the only time I've been like, yes.
Well, that's a different and complicated territory, and we don't want to encourage people experimenting with that.
Also, there's a rape in I Piss on Your Grave. Have you seen that? Mm-mm. Okay.
Is it a man-on-man rape?
I think she's raping him with an object.
Oh, a woman raping a man. Well, that's fun.
Yeah. It's revenge. It's pure revenge.
Or like a Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, right? I read the book. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie, but I assume.
Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. Actually, the original is it Swedish?
Yeah.
The original Swedish movies are better than the American remakes. Yeah, way better.
The book was hot.
Yeah, we're so hung up on sexual stuff here, which is weird. I feel like the most outwardly like conservative countries are also the freakiest.
The most repressed and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, because one of these days, Pornhub could fuck the world up if they just drop everybody's IP with their porn searches.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Let's just get it out the way. That would be it would have an effect similar to like have you seen Fight Club?
Yeah.
It would be like that. It would be like it would do some. It would affect all of society. Everybody would just, some people it would ruin their lives, but most people it would like free them.
Would it ruin your life?
No. I mean, I would definitely have to have some conversations with some people, but because I'm the type of motherfucker where it's like, sure, it's stuff I don't share with people, or it's stuff I would rather people not know. But I'm such a like, I'll burn the house down before I let you steal it and ruin it type
totally.
deal. So it's like if somebody was like, "Ha, I know this thing about you," I would be like, "All right, whatever."
I'll come out in front of it.
Let's just do it. Yeah.
There's nothing I couldn't come out in front of.
No.
I'm not like ashamed of anything. There's just some like awkward conversations.
Yeah, there's nothing I wouldn't like just stand on. Like, fuck it, okay, well,
Yeah.
yeah,
This is what I'm into.
yeah, and because that would be my next question. I would be like, listen, if you want to have this conversation, let's put out your shit, and then we can have a honest. Because I find it's crazy that most people will, especially the most judgmental ones, they have the most to hide.
Yeah.
Because it's real easy when the spotlight is on another person for you to be like, but it's like, all right, well, what's back there in the dark,
Right.
So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most people's porn searches will be way worse than mine. So if it's everyone's is coming out, then mine will be nothing.
yeah, I would be the most suspicious of people where if it was just all regular.
Yeah.
If you were just searching for missionary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. There's got to be some people who really just want to watch, they just watch porn occasionally and it's just a little bit of just fucking, and maybe they're just looking for attractive people.
I actually, the first time I was put on the spot about this was I did that. You seen Barstool where they like ask you, it's like a card game they have and they hand you a card and it has like a controversial thing on it. And the one I got was like, I forget what it was, but I ended up having to say like, what would my one porn thing be? And I was like, it was like accidental cream pies is my thing.
Accidental.
Right, where it's like, where it's like, what have we done? Well, no, I didn't. I want that.
Wait, okay, this is embarrassing, but cream pie is just when you come in someone?
Yeah.
I guess I hate that word. Okay, so...
Well, I don't like the word either, but that's what you got to put in if you want to get it. Yeah.
Well, I'm comforted that you don't like the word. That does make me feel better.
Yeah, because there's way better, because the visual
Gross.
is supposed to, but there's way better names for that.
Just coming in, so it's just like they meant to pull out, but then they didn't make it.
Right, or they planned on pulling out.
Sometimes,
but sometimes it's like, don't come in me. Oh, I'm sorry, I came in you. Sometimes it's I'm about to come, and then she like locks it in.
Oh.
You got to watch out for that one. That happens in real life.
Well, the other way happens in real life too, and it's fucked up both ways. It's very fucked up to come inside someone who you're not supposed to, especially if depending on their contraception situation.
Yeah,
you can really be.
But here's another thing too, though. Sometimes, and I, it took me till I was. Actually, it only really took one time to realize this, but it was like sometimes when someone says "come inside me," that's not what they really want. It's hot in the moment.
To say it.
It's like I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like sometimes somebody's like, come inside me, but it's just the hot thing to say, and they don't really want you to come in them.
Right.
And I guess you just have to have that discussion before.
You were supposed to have that discussion before. And if you're going to say, come inside me, and you don't mean it, you need to talk about that beforehand. That's on you if you're going to say that. You need to say that beforehand.
But that's the thing. Maybe that's what gets them off, though, where they're like, they don't mean it,
the danger
but
of
them
it.
not meaning it, and you don't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Some people are into that.
Yeah.
We're all weird sex stuff people.
True. All right. Will you introduce yourself to the audience?
Oh, damn. We really, yeah.
We really started off
maybe
here.
we should film the intro and then the conversation. Yeah, I'm Brian Simpson, a comedian now based in Austin.
Are you officially Austin now?
Mm-hmm. I moved here in August.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to the team.
I love everything but the bugs. They really got to do something about this shit because, you know how it got cold all of a sudden? Mm-hmm. And then there was one warm day yesterday.
Today's 82 degrees.
These motherfuckers was out. They was back out with just one day. I thought these motherfuckers were hibernate or something.
Don't worry, tomorrow's high is 51.
Okay, well,
Well, they'll be gone again.
I can't wait till we like a steady 40 something. You know,
It's about to be. It's about to be.
yeah, it's chubby boy weather.
I know. I had a great time today.
Yeah.
I was tanning.
Oh no, see now I get to
Took a
I get to
run.
layer up. You know,
Oh, fine.
yeah.
All right. And do you have a controversial opinion today?
Wow, so many. And I had the whole thing, but then on my way here, I read some shit that pissed me off. And somebody was like the one of my friends tweeted like that the Lizzo documentary was amazing and she's so talented, and I don't have anything against Lizzo, but it just reminds me of how much I fucking hate people making documentaries about themselves. Like, if you still alive, I'm not watching your fucking documentary. Nope, I ain't seen none of them. Save the Last Dance, Lizzo shit. I don't watch none of these Justin Bieber, Belieber shit.
Taylor Swift.
Tell us, no, fuck you. You don't get to, because the documentary is supposed to be telling me the whole truth. And if you alive to like approve what gets in and out of shit, you get to like control the narrative, and that's not real. That's not a real documentary.
Well, but we do sometimes want to learn about these people's lives before they die. I mean, it could be decades till I get to learn something about Lizzo. Otherwise,
Yeah, but that's how it's supposed to be.
yeah,
Yeah.
leave it a mystery until you're
Because
dead.
the thing is, you're learning, because what are you learning? You're learning what they want you to know.
Well, you're learning their side of the story. As long as you are aware of their side of the story.
Right.
Someone else could come up with another documentary being like, here's what you didn't learn.
Did you know that she's just a skinny woman in a fat suit this whole
That
time?
would be,
That would be
that
funny
would be
as shit.
amazing.
Yeah,
Oh my
but for honestly, I don't know why people shit on Lizzo so much. Like, the people act like she's a good person.
Yeah.
Like, she goes out of her way to do right by people, and for whatever reason, anytime somebody brings up fat people, they use her to be like,
Because it's easy.
yeah. I don't get, but it's like, go at I don't know, man. I don't get it, because it's like she constantly everybody's got has a controversial Lizzo take, and it's like, there's other fat girls out there.
Well, and also it's like she's not even like fat.
Really?
Like, well, she's bigger, but she's bigger in a way where it looks like basically right for her body. Like, it doesn't seem like she's overweight. She seems like the kind when the fat acceptance movement is right about, where it's like, that's a pretty healthy size and shape for her, isn't it? Like, some people are just differently shaped.
So controversial. Sorry about that. That's unprofessional as fuck.
All good. So she's never, I think, if she changed her diet and exercise situation, she's never going to be like the thin, model kind of thing that what we used to have as the beauty standard. That's not what her body shape is meant for. I mean, she could, I'm sure, lose some weight. It's like Adele was like kind of a little bigger than healthy before, and then she got down to, like, I don't know, Lizzo seems like pretty healthy to me. Like,
and I feel like since Adele lost weight, people don't like her as much.
right. Well, also that last album didn't slap as hard. So, and I say that as someone who loved
Look,
all Adele's
it's
other
less
stuff.
pain.
Yeah.
See, this is my other.
I need to gain a bunch of weight. That's
This is getting to my real controversial opinion, right? And it's that, listen, some people are better than other people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, because I used to, all growing up all the time, my grandma would always be like, stop acting like you better than people. Stop acting like you better than people. Stop talking like you ain't better than nobody. I was like, yes, I am. Yes, I am. I can think of several people that I'm better off the top of my head at any moment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that, or let me rephrase this. It's not that some people are better than people. Let me just say that, like, it's like, I'm not a fan of like differently abled. It's like, no, it's less ability. That's what it is, right? It's like we come up with all these terms and try to go like, oh, everything's. I was like, oh, really? So the person that can't walk, if I came up with some technology where they could walk, you don't think they would pick walking?
Well, I don't know. Some people really have hard stances, because I was once in a church where there was a blind woman. Was she blind or deaf? I'm trying to remember. She was either blind or deaf, and she had the position that she didn't want to. She wouldn't have taken the cure if it was offered to her.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, I remember this so.
Probably deaf.
I think it was deaf, because, but it was. They wanted us, when we were singing Amazing Grace, we had to change the words to the song, because she thought it was anti-ableist, whatever it
Oh,
was.
because the how sweet the sound. You had to change that.
No, it was like she didn't want us to say it was blind but now could see. I think she was
Oh,
deaf.
right.
Maybe it was a blind person. I think it was the deaf woman who said it, but it was like that was the idea that was disabled, negative, whatever. Whatever. But like I'm like, but I'm even on, it's like a metaphorical that was blind but now
Okay,
could
well,
see
see,
is a
but
metaphor.
well, I have to know a few things about this lady because okay, if it's deaf, okay, I have a sidebar about that.
Mm-hmm.
If it's blind, I need to know if was she born blind, or because if you've never seen,
Right.
then you don't know that it's way better than not seeing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
But I had a deaf ASL teacher in college. They make you take an elective or whatever. And the first day we had an interpreter, and then after that it was just like the devil. And she had this whole thing about ocular implants, like because they force them on some children.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think deaf is a gray area just because there's like a whole community. There's like towns where it's all deaf people, and everyone or the non-deaf people there have to learn sign language because like everyone does it. And so it's like a whole community and culture and all this and
there is a real differently abled aspect to it because when you are deaf, then you learn this sign language and like this way of communicating with your whole face, body, hands, everything that that enhances things in a certain way. Like where it does actually feel differently abled as like it's a different language.
Right. So there are some different ables, but there are some disabled.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like so, but it's like everyone that's disabled wants to be in the differently abled, and it's like I don't know, man. I feel like because I wouldn't choose that, and I know you wouldn't either.
Right.
You're saying that because you know that there's no other you don't have another option. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but let me get a goddamn let us get these exoskeleton suits up and running.
Yeah. No, I think that's true. And I think like if you think about kind of the autism spectrum, right? There's another one where there are some people, some places in that spectrum where you're like, okay, you're missing some social skills, but you're really good at math. Like that's differently abled.
Yeah.
Then there's the people who their whole life is like, can't feed myself and do it. And they're like, you're disabled.
It's fucked up to have the disability without the advantage. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like being fat with little titties, it's like you didn't even get anything out of it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is rough.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like, I know a few women actually that were like, maybe a little overweight, maybe a little, not as attractive, and then they had the fucking surgery, they bought some titties, and now everyone's trying to fuck them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so it's like, well, you tell me what it is.
Yeah. But some people are better than others. That's interesting. And you brought this up originally because you were saying Lizzo is a good person, and
well, she's not a piece of shit. I don't know if there's a such thing as a good person.
Sure, but I mean, I was really impressed with her. I saw her at Sacramento Pride in I think 2019, and it was interesting because the town, like in Sacramento, there had been some kind of maybe there'd been a hate crime. Something had happened, something controversial had happened, and I remember in the gay bars there were like "fuck the police" like kind of graffitis all over the bathrooms and stuff, like real kind of like violent kind of anti-police stuff everywhere. I'm trying to remember what the incident was, but so there was a lot of this anti-police sentiment in the queer community, but at the Pride there was a police booth there, how they're giving out, koozies and whatever, spin a wheel at the police booth and, that kind of thing, trying to be like part of the
They
community.
need to give out get out of jail free cards.
Right. Yeah. But I remember there was like, there was a black trans police officer in that booth. And so I remember thinking like, okay, there's all this fuck the police, ACAB, whatever sentiment, yet we also have this black trans woman who's in this thing. Like, how is that going to be? Anyway, Lizzo like took a moment in the beginning, like right before her doing her set, which, she's performing free concert for Sacramento Pride, and she like took a moment to be like, hey, could we have a moment of silence in gratitude to the police? Like, or she did something where it was like this whole thing to get the whole crowd to be like, she was like, I know there's all this sentiment, but actually, like, can we show some support and love for for the police who protect us. And like we all cheered and like had this moment where it was like, actually we're all having this kind of beautiful moment together where we're like, yay, actually we aren't so against the police. I mean, this is all pre-2020, so things might.
My question is, who does the trans cop get to search? Like, do they have to? I'm just wondering. It's like, does she have to reveal?
Well, I don't know if how often are they patting people down in their day-to-day coppery?
I'm not sure. I have no idea what
like
a
the
day-to-day
TSA
coppery
thing.
is. Yeah, but
That would be fun if the TSA had to match everything up exactly. Like, all right, we need a non-binary person for this one, you know.
right, or or like there's a trans cop or trans person like about to do a pat down, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, man, I still have my dick." So
Yeah. It depends on if you still have your dick or not.
or vagina.
Yeah.
But is that what matters?
No, I don't. You know, different things matter to different people.
Because it's always been weird to me that they try to match up genders, but they go, I need a female assist or whatever, right?
Right.
But it's like, but what if she likes pussy? Like, that doesn't
Right.
make it less sexual because you
Yeah.
called a woman.
Yeah, can we get the lesbian TSA agent over here?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I would request the lesbian, but that's a personal matter.
You would?
Well, sure. I want to flirt, you know. That's just,
yeah.
I'm not, if she's hot, you
I
know.
feel like that'd be a weird time to flirt though, because then they might get me more suspicious of you.
No, I've flirted with the TSA people because they like kind of routinely will pat some area because like it'll be like your collar is ruffled or something, and then they're gonna I got to do this pat down. Like they don't. Most of them don't even take it that seriously. Most of the time, they're just kind of like, okay, technically I got to pat you down. You're just like my.
I guess I have done that. I flirted just to be like, hey man, can I keep my cocoa butter, please?
You know, yeah, just a little light flirtation. I'm not trying. I'm not
Wow, you
trying
have the
to
most
anything.
beautiful eyes. Let me keep my lotion. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had so many CSA agents like take something from me like on some bullshit, trumped up charges, and then I'm ashy where I land, and I have to go buy lotion or buy cocoa butter.
I've noticed they've started being pretty chill with like I'll have a even like contact solution that's full 12 ounces or whatever, and for a few flights in a row they would check it. They have some test strip they do, but the last 2 or 3 flights they haven't even. They've just let it go through. I'm like, all right.
Oh, they check it to make sure it's not like acid.
I guess. I don't know, whatever might be in a contact solution, but
Yeah,
I think at this point they can tell.
they done gave up on weed.
Oh yeah, they
I've
gave up on
flown
weed
in and
years
out of
ago.
every fucking state with weed. They don't even give a fuck. They're like, because they probably get laughed at for that bust. You know what I mean? You're not gonna take a picture in front of like a dime bag of weed.
Yeah, oh yeah. Because I first accidentally flew with a bunch of weed after some weed show, and then I didn't even realize. I tried to do all my weed, and then I forgot there was joints everywhere in my jackets and everything. So then it was like, I guess this is fine. So now it's like you can have whatever you want.
Do you agree? Like, are you better than some people?
Okay, yeah. I mean, I probably sure I'm better than. It's like there's so many different areas you could be better or worse in.
Overall.
Most people that you could find, there are going to be plenty of things that I'm not as good at them as, but there's a lot of things I'm better than them.
I think it's only a problem if you think you're better than a group of people.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? But if you I'm just talking about there are specific people that I'm better than, and I meet them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, because you don't even try. Because I guess coming full circle is like, it's like the reason I said Lizzo's a good person is like I think she's thoughtful. She tries to be thoughtful. I saw a thing where she a girl on TikTok was getting some kind of award, and she was like something happened because she's a big girl. And she couldn't get the dress, and something happened, and she asked Lizzo for her dress that she wore at the award show, and she fucking sent it to her.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, next day shipping. Showed up at her door, plus a fucking tailor to fit it.
Right, and there's something really fun about if you are, now wealthy and successful, like isn't that what you want to do? Is to be generous and cool.
What was funny though is Lizzo said the girl was like, profusely thanking her, and she was like, yeah, it costs nothing to be kind or something like that. I was like, actually, that did cost money. You didn't ship that for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It costs nothing to her relative to her bank statement.
Oh yeah, of course not. That was nothing. Yeah, I can't wait till I can do stuff like that. I just
Yeah,
want. That's
exactly.
the only thing I would be. If I was rich, I would just be.
So a baller, just fun.
This is what I don't get about the because I guess to be the sort of person that becomes a billionaire, you won't be this sort of person. But it's wild how, people like Bezos and Musk or whatever, how they don't realize like how much people would love them if they actually just use their money to like solve little problems here
Right.
all around. Like
Instead of buying Twitter.
like Elon could be like like Bill Murray, almost like beloved.
Yeah.
I just been like, oh, Elon came and like bought everybody's meal in this restaurant,
Just
or
be fun like that. Yeah.
yeah, because it's nothing at you.
Invest in all kinds of little things, or you know what I mean. But just give and just.
It's like
support.
I'm gonna spend $25,000 a day just doing dope shit for people.
Right. Just have a $25,000 a day fund where you're doing dope shit. Yeah. And how much more fun would that be? I don't understand why they. But again, he's too busy buying Twitter and ruining it or whatever.
Well, people are saying he's ruining it, but it feels the same to me, and I know that's a little controversial, but I didn't.
Well, it was already ruined. I mean, it was.
Right. It was like,
Before.
I feel like people act like Twitter was this. I mean, first of all, people act like the internet, because here it is. All these young kids, they wasn't around for the OG internet. The internet started out as like, I put it like this. There was no dark web when I was a kid because the whole thing was that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like the idea that you want to be safe on the internet is crazy. It's like you want to. It's like you thinking you can go to a strip club and not touch no pussy juice or nothing. Mm-hmm. It's like, yo, it's everywhere. It's like you can't make the, because it's not the internet anymore. It's not, because it used to just be, hey, all the crazy people are over there, and if you want to talk to them or interact with them, you go over there, and if you don't, then you stay from over there.
Right.
Now people act like everywhere in the internet needs to be this place where everyone's comfortable and everyone feels the same. I don't think that's possible. I don't think it's possible to do that and have the internet still be useful.
Yeah.
No.
No, when I say ruining Twitter, I just mean like he's going in there and just being like, just firing people and then just doing this whole, now you're going to pay for verification. And also we're not even going to make sure that when we say that this is the official account, we're not even going to make sure it actually is the person that is.
Yeah.
Like there's been a lot of just like technical stuff.
They fucked it up for the first few days, but I think they took back the paid verification. But the thing is, most people are so dumb. Like people have insulted me by being like, and you paid for verification. Like, no, I didn't. I still have the shit from
legacy.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also it's like, maybe, I mean, because here's the thing. People are upset that he fired a whole bunch of people, right? Mm-hmm. But Twitter has been functioning perfectly without all those people, so maybe they didn't need those motherfuckers. I mean, every company I've ever worked at, it was a bunch of motherfuckers that didn't need to be
exactly. Everybody knows half the people are spending their whole day on.
You ever read this book, Bullshit Jobs? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, because here's the thing. Society as a whole, we're working towards no one having to work.
Yeah.
Right? Or let me rephrase that. We're working towards there not being any work for anyone.
Yeah.
Computers, machines, AI are doing all the tasks, but we behave as though it's going to always be a situation where everyone needs to have a job.
Right.
But we aren't. So to keep that gap, it's like we just make up jobs.
Right.
And here's a perfect example. At most of these universities, most of the money goes to administrative shit.
Right.
So every time they got to pay a new motherfucker, they got to hire another motherfucker to make sure that person gets paid the right amount of money. And now they need more money to pay this motherfucker, and so they got to hire another motherfucker. And it's like if you went to any major university in the country and just fired everybody and then started from scratch, you would realize you only need like 10 people in the admin office. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with that.
So I think Twitter, and maybe, listen, don't get me wrong, he probably fired some people that they need.
I'm not sure he really knows how it runs well enough for him to have made the right decisions.
Yeah, but I like the fact that he walked in there and was like, hey, I think he just walked in there and was like, yo, who's on my page? Nobody? Fuck you then. Get the fuck out.
Right.
Twitter didn't shut down.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it'll remain to be seen whether there's problems that'll happen that then kind of cascade.
Or whether like one of the engineers like left a little treat.
Right.
In some code somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, it might be there.
Yeah, we'll see.
But the sky's falling people, I ain't with those people. Like, I was just actually talking to somebody else about this, but I right before I started, I had like this perfect storm when I started comedy where I was very much into politics. I was very much into like atheism and like had my little atheism meetup groups and every morning I would wake up and I would record Rachel Maddow at night and listen to it in the morning and Norman Goldman and Tom Hartman, and I was just and then at the same time, I started going to school and taking philosophy class, and I started taking stand-up comedy, and I just realized one day I was like, these people are just telling me to be upset every day. All I do every day is wake up. So this is before Twitter, before Instagram, before TikTok. Every day I would wake up, and the first voice I would hear would be, you should be outraged. Any decent American would not let this. And I was just fucking upset all the time.
Yeah.
And I just cut all that shit out. And so now that I had that experience, I approach the internet the same way. It's like anybody telling me to be upset every day, I just block them. I don't unfollow. Like I was like, I don't need because it becomes like this social pressure to be upset about the correct things, even when it doesn't really bother. Like what I mean is, I can look at something and intellectually know that it's wrong, but it doesn't emotionally affect me.
Right.
And so I'm not gonna be online and pretend like I'm so put upon or bothered, you know. And so it's like I don't see how Twitter is being ruined. You know, like I remember that first day, people were like, you know, the usage of the word nigga is up 400%. And I was like,
really?
You could say nigga on Twitter way before that day. People said it all the time. Racist people.
That because people are getting banned for saying people were getting banned for saying, you know, a man is a man or whatever, something like that.
On Twitter?
On Twitter. Oh yeah.
Oh really?
People were getting banned for just saying like biological sex is real and stuff like that. So the idea that they could say the N-word before was. That's interesting.
Well, I just mean
the rules were always pretty arbitrary and fucked up, and they continue to be just in a more Elon Musk way now.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I don't. All of the things that are wrong with Twitter were already wrong with Twitter. It's just now we have a face to put on because Elon Musk was somebody that people already didn't like.
Right.
You know, it would have been no different if Joe Rogan had bought Twitter.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was like he's already someone that's a controversial to people, so they, you know. I feel like they're blaming him for a lot of the things that they didn't have a problem with being there before.
Well, because before it was things were leaning more in a more liberal way, and now they're leaning in a little more conservative way.
But it doesn't feel like that to me either.
Well, just in terms of who he's.
I mean, he let some conservatives back on Twitter, but Twitter is still way more liberal than, I mean, I'll put it like this. All of the extreme liberal people I know on Twitter are still on there, except for the ones that try to like impersonate Elon Musk.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't feel like it's more, it's more conservative, but it's not less liberal.
Okay.
It's just more conservative because like the major conservative, who's not even really a conservative, Trump, is back on Twitter. And I don't even think the motherfucker tweeting.
I don't think because he's on his own Talk News or whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
I think he's just
platform.
allowed.
He's
back,
just allowed,
but
back.
He's not back.
But he's not even back.
Yeah, but who even cares? I mean, I don't see the point in being. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like this is just this is the crybaby generation. Like everyone thinks they can cry their way. This is a bit that I'm doing now on stage, but it's like this is the best generation at identifying problems and the worst at moving the fuck on.
Sure.
They can't accept that every battle can't be won. You know, and so it's like when I came up, you used to get in trouble for tattling. There was a distinction, but if no one was in danger or like bodily harm, and you told the teacher something, they would be like, you in trouble for tattling. You know, Vanessa took my pencil. Go sit down. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, no. Did Vanessa punch you in the face, kick you in the dick, spit on your food? No, then go back over there.
Deal with your problem on your own.
Yeah. It was like, if you do one more, like you don't get a gold star or a treasure box or whatever the fuck, but now it's like adults just get to tattle all the time. I'm upset. This bothers me. This bothers me. It's like, yeah, okay, it bothers you, but you can't do anything about it. So now what? Are you gonna just continue to let it dominate your life and your emotional state, or are you going to move the fuck past it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, but like I said, things that are actually dangerous to you can't move past. But what's happened is people will act like something that merely bothers them is dangerous, so they don't have to move past it.
Right.
Yeah, but they go, this will lead to danger, and it's like, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but it doesn't feel that way. It's like all the things that like Elon, Twitter will, remember this? Twitter will shut down any day now. Remember people saying that?
I guess people did, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been mostly keeping out of it, to be fair.
Well, I don't use Twitter any more or less than I used to, but it all looked the same. I still see all the same tweets, and the only extra tweets I see is people crying about being banned.
Yeah.
Because they broke the rules. The rules, here's my other problem with a lot of these people too, is when they originally banned Trump, I didn't get in trouble, but people had a problem with my opinion about it because I was like, this is not okay because I guess this will be my most controversial take.
Okay.
Is because, how do I put this? Like, if in the grand scheme of things, there are left fascists and right fascists that are all great with fascism as long as it's what they want. Right? So they're more than willing to give up tyrannical power as long as the result is what they want, even though, if you ask them if they agree with tyranny, they say no.
Right.
But banning Donald Trump isn't tyranny, but what I'm trying to say is consequences for your speech should exist. But the consequence shouldn't be that you can't speak, right? That's dangerous because the moment if you do that, what you're saying is someone gets to decide who can't speak,
right? And
then you have to decide who gets that power,
right? And
that power isn't always going to be in the hands of people you agree with,
right?
So because there isn't a perfect world where only non-harmful things get said.
Right.
Our choice isn't between harmful things being allowed or not being allowed. Our choice is between people being able to say whatever they want at the risk of harmful things being said, or someone picking and choosing what's allowed to be said. And anyway, I was told, shut the fuck up, whoop, whoop, whoop. Twitter's a privilege. It's not a right. It's a private company. They can do what they want, right? And now Elon owns Twitter, and all those same people are fucking hypocrites. Now Twitter is an essential part of public discourse, and it's not fair that one man gets to, right?
Right.
And that's what I mean. It's like, stop being a fucking fascist when it's convenient.
Right.
Stop being willing to give up your freedom so you can be safe.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, exactly. So we had banned Trump, and that was someone's arbitrary decision about how we're going to ban. And now we have a face. We have Elon Musk to blame because he is specifically deciding which people are going to be banned. He's decided Alex Jones is going to remain banned because he said that he lost his child. He lost a baby to SIDS, and so he can't handle someone utilizing the death of children. Yeah, that's what he said. He said the reason he's not going to have Alex Jones back on is because he's traumatized by his own loss of a child. So the idea of someone capitalizing on the death of children is so disgusting to him that he can't handle.
Yeah, I'm surprised he could even keep track of which kids are.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, how many? I mean, statistically, you're going to lose some of them if you.
Yeah, I mean. That was the whole reason people had 16 kids back in the day. You're like, all of them ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
it's like, what is it like? We're not even gonna name you till you make it past the third winter or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
You just boy till you're 3.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, his was like 10 days. It shouldn't have even counted. No.
Also, I think it's also weird that like his and his father's reasoning is that more of their intelligence should be out in the world. Mm-hmm. But you're making a hefty assumption that all your kids gonna be intelligent.
Yeah, because genes are always skipping generations and morphing around.
Yeah. And so it's
is everyone in his family terribly smart?
I don't know, man. And then one of your kids might be an evil genius.
Right.
Like, slow down. Plus, also, I feel like the later men, because now they're finding more research that men being older trying to have kids also contributes to whether the kid. Like
you mean like their sperm gets worse over time?
Right. It's like I just saw a loose study. I don't know if it has been peer reviewed yet or whatever, but it was like the quality of your sperm degrades as you get older, and that also plays a factor in whether or not the kid has birth defects. So it's not just the older women;
eggs,
it's older men as well. So so it's like making a copy of a copy of a copy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would believe that sperm degrades over
Also,
time.
where these genius kids at?
Right. Yeah. Well, it remains to be seen. We'll give it
I
10
guarantee,
more years.
because the thing is, here's the other thing too. You have to cultivate genius. It doesn't mean you're a good dad because you're a genius. Yeah, I guarantee you right now, if you ask any of Elon's kids how old they are, they're gonna say this many. Yeah, yeah. But whatever. I don't know him personally, and maybe I have different energy if I met the motherfucker.
Right.
But who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, but so he's just kind of arbitrarily deciding who's back on Twitter and who's not. But it's people are maybe
But
people will.
he put Trump up to a vote.
Yeah, he put it up to a vote, but it's also kind of a cop out way for him to handle his business, to be like,
You think so?
I'm gonna let the people decide these things so that then it's not on me. I mean, I don't know.
I wish he would do what he originally said he was going to do, and just verify everyone. Like make everyone right. And I know the argument against that is that it puts certain marginalized groups in danger because then you can't tweet anonymously. But I think that's a bullshit excuse because most people just want to be able to talk shit anonymously. They're not like, they're not like on the run from the government or like exposing secrets that will put. No, they just it's mostly utilized by crazy people that have 2 or 3 accounts. Sometimes they argue with each other. See, to me, that's another thing. A big red flag for me is when people have multiple Twitter accounts. When they're like, I don't mean like one for business, one personal. I mean like they have like a dummy account that they tweet certain stuff from, and a main account that they have to maintain a certain reputation so they won't say certain stuff on. Or some people have like a protagonist antagonist thing where they have
arguments with themselves.
well, they basically have created an arch nemesis that when they'll tweet something like I'm being harassed by this person, and then they're that other person
I've
going
seen that
fuck
before.
you, right? Yeah, and they don't know like there's clever people out there that can like trace the IP of both
Right.
accounts and be like this is coming from the same motherfucker.
Right.
So
I love it when those people get exposed.
oh buddy, oh hell yeah, it's one of my favorite fucking things is to watch someone that is intent on destroying people fucking get their just dessert. Oh man.
It's like watching the bad guy get raped.
Yeah, exactly. It's like watching the bad guy get raped. Exactly. Take that in your butthole.
All right, and those is a good example of how some people are better than others. I do think that you're right about that. I think it's something. It's kind of like cultural relativism. The idea that some countries do have better. Some religions are better than others. Like I think we can make those arguments that some culture, the cultures where they're cutting clits off and women have no rights. I'm going to go ahead and say they're not.
They're
as
worse.
good.
Yeah, and I think you can measure that in how self-reflective and thoughtful you're required to be, how self-aware you're required to be.
Well, and the idea that some people aren't better than others is kind of crazy anyway, because it's like some people are working on themselves, some people are reading books and exercising and doing charity work and whatever, and then other people play video games and eat junk food and work a job that they know is for a company that is basically evil, and that's all that their lives are. Like, so yes, of course some people are better than others.
Damn, I thought you were talking about me until you said junk. So you said working for a company. No, but you're right. I mean, but here's the other question though. Is there a path to redemption for people? Because here's what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put less energy into the things I hate and more energy into the things I like. So it's like instead of waking up and going on Twitter and going, fucking what's supposed to piss us off today, because every group has that, black people, gay people, trans people, they all have the like beacon accounts that are like this is what we're upset about today, and I stopped following all of that because I want to be like, okay, what do I love, let me give that attention, let me share that, right, or because I don't I'm tired of having a conversation about accountability without talking about responsibility, right? Because consequences don't exist in a vacuum, right? Consequences have consequences, right? So it's like, are you responsible for those consequences? Right? So like if I say, perfect example, Brett Favre was caught embezzling money.
Oh, he was.
He basically he was trying to make a deal with a crooked politician to divert welfare funds to build a volleyball stadium at the university that his daughter was going to.
Oh, funny.
Even though he totally has the money to have done it himself.
That's crazy.
Right, and that's crazy. It's fucked up. It's wrong, especially taking money that's meant for the poorest people in the poorest state and to build something that you don't need. And it's fucked up and it's wrong and there should be consequences, right? But now if I were to dox his family, people will go, fuck yeah, fuck him. But if something bad happened to them, am I not responsible for that?
Right.
So because and the only reason I'm bringing it up is because I'm like, we always have the conversation of like, there should be consequences, right? But then it's like, okay, well, what should they be? Nobody wants to talk about that. Like, well, it's to me, it's like, it's the equivalent of running into a room, like, it's like running into a room that's on fire and being like, someone should do something about this. You know, you're like, well, what should we do? Well, that's not my problem.
Right.
You know, it's like, well, it's like, how severe should
Well, I think Brett Favre should probably go to prison for that.
He should definitely go. He won't, but he should.
But that would
I
be
have an update on this. Actually, 4 hours ago, he filed a motion to dismiss, denying that he had any wrongdoing.
Oh, okay. Is it? I mean,
Not
how
looking good for him.
Okay, so is it pretty cut and dry that he is guilty of this? Like, what is?
We'll see. We'll see right
Yeah,
now.
well, there are
he filed the
texts.
dismissal of motion.
Okay.
Yeah, there are texts between him and I want to say the governor, saying where the governor, or maybe it was the lieutenant governor, someone very high up in the government of was it Mississippi?
Yes.
The worst state in the nation.
But they were he was basically telling him, hey, like, well, we have to really talk about this because like you're pushing it to the point where like it will be highly illegal.
Yeah.
You know, and he kept going. You know, so right there, it's like there's no way he
evil
can,
and stupid. God, now there's physical proof.
Yeah, and I don't know because the thing is, if it's a state thing, he might get off because he's Brett Favre. But if it turns federal, that's that ass. The federal government don't take cases that they win like 95% of their cases. Yeah.
It was the governor, so it's probably going to become a federal thing. It's not looking good for Brett.
What are the texts? There was like a text between him and
let me pull them up real quick.
This is dope. Y'all always do podcasts here?
Yeah.
What is this?
This is the studio that Big Laugh Comedy is working out of right now. Yeah.
Authentic Exposure is what it's called?
We're being authentically exposed right
Is this
now.
way out? Where is this? In relation to like downtown?
It's 10 minutes southwest.
Okay. I like this.
Westlake area.
Y'all do green screen?
We have a green screen.
Okay.
We have like a piece of fabric.
Okay. All right. Oh, man.
Well, so what you're saying though about the consequences is that your people like aren't clear about what they think the consequences should be for things like this.
No, I think people. I think people are. They want people to be punished for being bad, but they don't want to do the. I don't want to say emotional labor, but they don't want to do the work to go. You know, to really break down like what the penalty because we don't do that. What ends up happening is we do the worst punishment for everything, right? So it's like you know, I put it like this: if we let this generation write the law, there would be no manslaughter, first degree murder, second degree murder. It would just be life in prison for everything. You know, there's no nuance. There's no breaking shit down. People we don't have time for that. It was like, punish the motherfucker. And you go, okay, well, how? Well, I don't want to do all that.
Well, except Gen Z is also, wants to abolish prisons in
Well,
general. So they play it both ways.
Yeah.
For certain social crimes, throw the book at them, but sometimes.
I think we should have prisons only for people that actually can't function in society, because some people are just are fundamentally broken
Yeah.
at a base level. Where I took a class about the death penalty, and this guy he kind of changed my mind about it, because at first I was like, I'm vehemently against it, right?
Okay.
And so this guy was a cop and a criminal psychology person. Like, he would testify for the state for. So anyway, but he asked us all, like, if we were against the death penalty, and almost everyone because it was in San Diego, almost everyone was like, yeah, sure I am.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, a lot of people do that because again, it's if you consider yourself a leftist or a liberal, it's the stance you're supposed to take. But again, you haven't thought about it past that. He was like, because, okay, so if you don't give people the death penalty, then that means you have to keep them in prison,
Right.
and that costs money. Which is what it's like. It's the same thing where, like, conservatives are obsessed with locking people up, and they're mad that, like, California is letting people out of prison, but it's like, it costs money to put people in prison.
Yeah, and these private prisons are making all this money off.
Right, which
us.
it costs so much money to keep. In fact, here's what's so funny about it: it costs more to keep people in prison than people get for public assistance, and most people are in prison because
They needed some assistance.
they needed money. Yeah. So it's like it's weird that, like, we're against. It's like I'd rather give somebody $2,000 a month than spend $10,000 a month locking them up.
Right.
But anyway, the point he tried to make was that he gave us a case about this little kid that I think he was 6, and he bludgeoned his 3-year-old neighbor to death. And when they asked him why he did it, he was like, I just wanted to watch her die.
Yeah. Like, so we found a sociopath. Like,
Right.
here he is.
And he's like, but so now what do you want to do with that child?
Right.
Do you want to lock him up for his whole life?
Late term abortion, like they did in old societies.
Or something. Because this kid ain't never gonna not be a murderer. Like,
Right.
he enjoys it.
Right.
You know-
What do we do with a kid like that?
Yeah. Or this guy, he interviewed a lot of psychopaths, and he asked a person, like, so are you thinking about killing me right now? It's like, yeah.
Right.
Like, I'm not your friend. Like, if you let me out of these handcuffs, I'm gonna take that pin and put it through your eyeball.
Yeah. So if we could have a thing where we were like identified psychopaths, and then we just slit their throats.
Yeah, I mean, this same, it was actually one of my favorite classes I took at this shitty fucking university. But this guy, he also told me that like the whole thing where we make sex offenders go door to door.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, that is actually counterproductive,
Totally.
because what happens is people don't want them in the neighborhood. They get ran out of the neighborhood, and then they lose track of them, like because they have tracking devices that have to be charged up. But if they don't have anywhere to live and they end up on the street, then it's like, we don't know where they are.
Yeah.
And also, it's like sex offenders reoffend. It's like it's actually 100. I don't quote these numbers, but it's much more likely that someone in your family or close to your family is going to do something to your kids than it is with the convicted fucking sex offender up the street. Yeah, but you can't. How do you run a campaign for that?
The sex offender registry is fucked up in a million ways, because people are also on there for like indecent exposure because they peed in public once, and then they're also considered a sex offender for their whole lives.
There's people that were like, they were a senior and their girlfriend was a freshman.
They were 18 and she was 16
yeah,
or whatever.
and they're married
states.
now and have kids, but he's a sex offender. So it's like, is he not allowed around his own kids? I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, but it is one of those like non-starters for politicians to change those laws. But there's a growing awareness. A lot of people are aware that the sex offender registry is pretty fucked up.
The problem is we're listening to people that we used to ignore, right? Which is a good thing in some ways, because some of those people were powerless, but see, this is also, I guess this is my overall controversial take, is that
an overall one.
When you empower a group of people, you also empower the shitty people in that group, right? And so we can't. I feel like we got to get out of this mode where we're not allowed to criticize marginalized. Like, just because you're in a marginalized group, you free of criticism,
right?
Because I mean, you've seen it. So it's like the Me Too thing was supposed to empower women, right? But also you saw shitty women take advantage of that. Right? It is the same thing. It's like and that's, I'm not saying we shouldn't have empowered women, but I'm saying I should be able to call Amber Heard a lying piece of shit. Yeah. Without people acting like I hate women, because I don't. I just don't trust her. She seems like a liar to me. And I know it's people out there that's like, I'm Team Amber or fuck Johnny Depp. It's
Sounds like they both were fucked up to me. I don't
yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of either one of them, but you know, I saw her on tape going, yeah, I punched you, and what are you gonna do about it? Like, if you tell somebody, they ain't gonna believe you, or they gonna think you a pussy or whatever. Like, I heard her saying that. Everything that he was guilty of was kind of implied, and I believe a lot of it, but I heard her saying what he accused her of. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, you gotta stay away from that. I can't. Someone's dating her now, which is insane to me, but whatever.
But no, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, whenever we can be so black and white about stuff, and especially this whole like believe women or like elevate marginalized voices and blah blah. But it's like, yeah, but there's going to be shitty people in those groups who we need to still be able to call that out.
I know over the pandemic, I know at least 5 male comics that transitioned, and I'm like, I respect that you're a woman now, but you've been a piece of shit this whole time. I know. You know what I mean? It's like
Very much so.
your person. You know, estrogen don't change your personality, bro.
Well, it does change your personality,
Well,
but it doesn't.
It changes the way you behave.
Yeah.
I mean, it changes a lot of things.
It's good. I mean, a lot of those men, it's better that they're chemically or these women. They're chemically castrated
But
themselves.
does it make you better? Maybe it does make you better.
I don't know. I mean, it could. I mean, better, but it'll at least make them tamer.
Let me put it to you like this. It doesn't change. It doesn't absolve you.
It doesn't absolve you of your moral.
Your piece of shitness.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and listen.
With luck, it'll change them for the better.
But maybe it should. Like, maybe you should get a clean slate. Maybe it's like that's how we should let people out of prison. We're like, listen,
you have to change gender.
You have to change genders. You take this estrogen for 6 months, and you get to go back outside.
Well, that's what the government used to do to gays. You know what I mean? That used to be the choice.
Really?
Either you go to prison or you chemically castrate yourself.
I thought that was Britain.
In Britain, yeah.
Yeah, they did that to.
I think we did it a little bit here, but it depended on where you were.
They did that to somebody famous, Alan
Turing.
Yeah.
And then he
they're
eventually
just
killed
like,
himself.
sorry, mate, or whatever.
Yeah, but that's an interesting thing now is that now the queers do it to ourselves.
And didn't they do that? Did they do that while Elizabeth was queen?
Oh God, I mean, yeah, I think she was.
Bro, they gave that old biddy so much love, like she was the fucking best thing ever.
Right.
While she just let all these atrocities happen in her name.
Yeah, England is an amoral empire.
I'm sorry, like, because I know she's supposedly not political, but like, I mean, come on, bitch. It's like,
well, that's the point. You have a figurehead that is like, oh yeah, we can just not be mad at England because look, we have this figurehead, even though and she seems nice. But your empire is stepping on whoever it wants to.
I know, and there's so many bootlickers in England that are just like, God save her.
Well, I mean,
God save the queen.
Ignorant
like
masses.
Yeah, you crying like this bitch wasn't 97.
Right.
It's like, there's nobody I know that's 97 years old that if they died today, I would shed a tear.
Right.
No, I cried when you were 70 and forgetting shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's when you was gone.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Man, that's fucked up. Maybe edit. I'm just kidding. Don't edit that out.
No, it's good.
I've said way worse stuff sitting here. Man, this is going to get me like, I can tell right now, this is like, not now, because neither of us is famous enough, but in like 5 years, somebody going to come back and find this podcast.
All these things.
Like, this motherfucker was shit. Look at this.
I don't know. By then, the landscape might have changed enough that people are saying a lot more stuff everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's my struggle. I struggle to try to stay intellectually consistent.
Right.
Yeah. Because you know what? That's one thing. This is so fucking... Ben Shapiro. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't particularly agree with most of the stuff this motherfucker says. Sure. But what I will give him credit for is he's the only one of these, like, I guess you would call them like the new age shock jocks. Mm-hmm. But he, as much of a smug, smarmy asshole as he can come across as, he's the only one that has on his website he has a list of all the stupid shit he said that he don't believe no more.
Okay,
like all the stuff where he's like, I shouldn't have fucking said that.
I'm on watch with him right now because, like, recently with the Club Q shooter in Colorado, whose lawyers were like, oh, actually they're non-binary. Have you heard about this?
Nah.
Okay, so the dude who killed 5 people and injured 20 more in the gay club in Colorado Springs. His lawyers say that he's non-binary and uses they/them pronouns. Now,
so it's not a hate crime.
But that's the issue. There's a lot of things going on in here, because they are wanting to charge him on hate crimes. so you could say that he's trying to get out of hate crime, but at the same time, he's killed 5 people. Like, the hate crimes are just symbolic. Like, the penalty for killing the people, he's already going to life in prison for this.
Right.
So the hate crime stuff is just tacked on in a symbolic way to say, hey, like, this is showing that, you know, that this is hate fueled, and because of
Well, no, not necessarily, because and this is, I could be wrong about this, but I think that if it's a hate crime, then it's federal, right? He's eligible to go to federal prison, and then
it changes which prison he goes to.
I think it changes what prison he goes to, and it changes the circumstances that he can get out of prison. I mean, he's never going to get out of prison.
That's the thing. It's like, for what he's done, he's never getting out of prison anyway. So I don't know that they would do it. I think it's more likely that it's a cynical way to own the libs, to say, oh, actually, I'm non-binary. Now, he did change his name in 2016 from Nicholas to, well, we're not supposed to say his name because it's like people do copycat stuff, supposedly, because they want the notoriety. But he did change, but he changed it from a male name to like a non-binary sound, like a kind of a dude non-binary sounding name. It's the kind of non-binary sounding name that you would choose if you were a vagina person who was non-binary.
Like Nikki.
Or like Alexander would be a good example. It's a similar name to Alexander, where it's like, or to Al, like it sounds more like, it sounds more like a dude non-binary name, you know.
Okay.
So I don't know what to think about, and that's why I'm not going to bother with the they them pronouns.
But can they find anyone that was told to refer to him as they them?
And everything that I've seen in the articles say his parents continue to refer to him as he him, but his parents are like Mormons apparently, who don't believe in the gender shit anyway. So it's hard to.
No, his father is a.
His father was a porn star who was on intervention for meth.
Right.
But he's also a Mormon. Yeah. The whole thing is so fucking crazy.
Wait, I thought Mormons wasn't allowed to.
They're not allowed to do any of that stuff. But
wow, you're not getting a planet, motherfucker.
yeah, he's not getting his planet. But so I don't know what to believe about whether he actually genuinely considers himself to be non-binary. But
you think they'd be able to find a single person that were like, yeah, I call them they them.
Right, exactly. It's very strange.
So am I being transphobic by referring to him as him?
Yeah, but a lot of trans people have decided we're not doing that. 'Cause they're like, there was a trans chick on the news who was like, looks like a dude to me. I don't believe it.
But that's weird, though.
No, totally. It's nothing but he's consistent. Oh, this is my point. Because Ben Shapiro, he did an episode where he was like, all right, so this shooter is they them. They're trying to get him on hate crimes, but he's a they them, and so all this liberal media wanted to come out. They came out and immediately were like, this is a hate crime because of the cultural rhetoric around, because people are worried about drag queen story hours and puberty blockers and all this kind of stuff, and so the liberal media has been saying that because of that culture, that's what led to this hate crime. And so if they had just waited 1 minute, for the facts, they would have found out that he was non-binary, and then they wouldn't have said all this. But are they ever going to come back and apologize? No, and they're never going to come back. And I'm like, Ben, are you going to come back and apologize when it turns out that he cynically is calling himself non-binary in order to troll the libs?
I think he will.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, maybe, but who knows? I mean, I don't listen to the motherfucker every day or nothing like that.
No, I just click on it every now and then when it's like good enough. When I'm like, that was how I learned that there was a non-binary thing. That was my first. I was like,
Well, I only heard him talk on Lex Friedman's podcast. Mm-hmm. So I don't even regularly see his, because at one point I had to clear all of my YouTube history and stuff like that, because I realized recently that YouTube doesn't. The dislike button doesn't stop showing you things. Oh. Like, they don't show you what you say you don't want to see.
Right.
They show you what they know you'll watch.
What's your attention? Yeah.
Right. And so if you click on, like a lot of liberals I know are obsessed with conservatives.
Yeah.
So they, so if you ask them, if YouTube goes, do you want to see Ben Shapiro? People will be like, fuck no. Mm-hmm. But if you put a video up going, Ben Shapiro said what? They'll click on it, right? And so YouTube is like, yeah, you said you don't want to see it, but here it is.
We're giving what you want.
Yeah, and so I had to clear my whole shit and just start all over, because like I've had YouTube since the beginning, and it's like some of the shit that I watched when I was young, I don't want to see any of this shit.
Yeah.
And so I've recently started over, so I don't see any clips from conservative or from any political shit. All that shit doesn't come up now. But now I'm sharing a smart TV with my roommates, so we'll see what starts popping up in my suggestions. But for now, I'm free of all people telling me how to feel.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Any more controversial takes?
No. I think we got them all out. I think that's enough to get me canceled in 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have three more years of career left.
I mean, by then, I think it's like the mutually assured destruction of if everybody's porn comes out. Like, I think enough stuff has been said in podcasts that people haven't dug through.
I just think it's so funny to be a trans person and have somebody say they're non-binary and you'd be like, I don't believe you.
Yeah, it was a trans chick who was on the news being like, that looks like a dude to me. Of course, then people are coming back and be like, you look like a dude to me. You know?
Right. That's because you got to know you opening yourself up to that.
Right.
But
we can't do it based on looks for some people and not for others.
I mean, why not just say, I think he's lying?
Right, exactly. Say, I think he's lying.
Yeah.
Which,
like, I don't think he's confused. I don't think he's wrong. I think he's lying.
yeah. Well, his whole family is such a piece of work. His dad, when he was interviewed on the news, when he said, yeah, when the lawyers called me up to tell me that my son had shot up a nightclub and they said it was a gay nightclub, and I was like, hold on, wait, my son's gay? Oh no, my son's gay. And then I was like, oh, he's not gay? Woo. And I'm like, he's not worried that his son has killed all these people so much as that he might be gay. But,
Well, I think he is gay.
well, if he's non-binary, then he's inherently gay.
I think
But if you're both or neither gender, then whichever gender you're attracted to is gay.
Yeah, I just think the type of person that wants to kill gay people that bad, they love penis, and they hate that about themselves.
Yeah.
There's no listen, you can legitimately look, people that are anti whatever. Some of them legitimately believe it's wrong or whatever, but I'm talking about the people that are passionately anti-gay, anti-LGBTQ.
Yeah.
Those people are, come on.
gay.
I mean, how else could you have that much passion?
Right.
Unless it's something close to you. You know what I mean? It's like, hold on, women. You gonna shoot up a gay club? I bet you he fucking sucked a dick in that club like fucking 6 months ago.
Right.
And he was afraid it would come out. Or something like that. Or
Well, he's one of the rare ones who's like still alive, and some of these rare mass shooters are still alive. So I'm hoping we get to hear from him.
Bro,
I want to know.
I'm telling you, that motherfucker has a torso shot on Grindr or something like that.
Yeah.
They just need to do a side by side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope we get to find out, because I am curious why he did it. Because now people are saying it's still a hate crime because it's internalized homophobia, queerphobia, or whatever. And so I'm like, does that count for a hate crime if you're saying you have internalized phobia of some sort and you're killing your own people? I'm like, well, I don't even know what I think about hate crime laws. It seems kind of like, is it really a worse thing to kill people out of hate for a group than it is just to kill people out of hate for the person? And I don't know.
I don't know if it's a worse thing, but I think it's just I think they came about as a discouragement.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know.
I don't really know whether that's my thing. I'm not really sure whether it's discouraging anybody when someone gets it in their head, I'm going to go shoot up a bunch of people. They already are knowing they're probably going to die either in the act or later on by the hand of the state. Like, I don't really think that they're being like, or even going and beating, like, I don't know how many people are like really weighing in, oh, this might be considered a hate crime violation, and so I'm going to not do that. I just don't think that factors in.
I think they should I think they should lock him up and just have gay porn playing in his cell. Yeah. Just have the sound pumped into his cell, or just grunts.
Yeah. We should have more creative punishments.
Yeah, and none of this like girly twinky shit, like grown men grunts. Just the sounds, not the video. I don't want them to break the screen, but just the sounds of like. Yeah, just for his whole sentence. That would be fucking dope.
Okay, so now I'm back on board with hate crime law. We have hate crime laws, but it's if you commit a hate crime, then we do punishments like that, where we force you to encounter the thing that you hate for the duration of your sentence.
No, I know why the hate crime shit came up.
Okay.
It's because a lot of the states are and were racist still, and so it was a way for the federal government to take over a case in case the state was like
Yeah.
not going to do it.
Not going to do it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's like, yeah, if you've killed 5 people, you're going to prison. So
Yeah,
this
because
isn't-
it wasn't even like, remember the dude that like dragged a motherfucker behind a truck?
Jasper, yeah.
It was like a long time ago. It was like
That was
20
in the
years ago.
90s or something.
Yeah, but it was like I think that they were in a situation where like they were gonna get let go, or the dude that killed him.
They were gonna get let go?
The dude that killed.
That was Mississippi, wasn't it? Or was that Texas? Was that Jasper?
No, that was Texas.
That Jasper.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But there was the dude that killed Ahmaud Arbery, right? Where it was like, there was so much attention on that shit, but those dudes was getting set up to get let go.
Oh, yeah, were they?
Yeah, well, like the initial police response to that was like they weren't even gonna do shit. They were like, oh, well, self-defense or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until, and I don't think that got took over as a hate crime case, but maybe it did. But the 2 prosecutors had to recuse themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That makes sense if it's about the federal government taking over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Word.
I think that's enough controversy, right? How long we got? How long we been going?
So we've been going for an hour, 10 minutes.
Oh,
Perfect.
okay.
Perfect.
That feels healthy.
That feels healthy. I think we did it. I think we covered it. All right. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. Like, are we plugging stuff?
Oh, yeah, let's plug.
Listen to my podcast, BS with Brian Simpson. Also, follow me on all socials at BS Comedian and go to my website, briansimpsoncomedy.com. I'm on tour. Those where the tickets are.
Nice.